Welcome. For decades, the mission to build a true thinking machine, an artificial general intelligence, has felt a bit like trying to build a plane without understanding aerodynamics. But, something profound is starting to change. The big idea we're diving into today is that the secret isn't just about more data or faster chips. Nope. The blueprint for AGI is being discovered by reverse engineering the one proven example of general intelligence we have, the human mind.
Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll lay out the grand challenge itself. Then we're going to dig into the mind's basic operating system, what awareness even is, before we look at its high-performance engine. And finally, we'll see how this human blueprint is actually being translated into a real roadmap for building an artificial mind. So, to kick things off, we really have to wrestle with what is, well, arguably one of the biggest questions in all of science and technology today. Asking the question this way, it's a total game changer. It forces us to see that understanding our own consciousness and building truly intelligent machines aren't two separate goals. They're actually two sides of the exact same coin. They're completely, fundamentally intertwined. Now, to even start sketching out this blueprint, we need a core principle, right? A rule that governs the entire system. And modern neuroscience has given us a really powerful one. The brain isn't some passive sponge just soaking up information. It's an active, relentless prediction engine. It's constantly running a simulation of reality, trying to guess what's coming next. Its number one job? To avoid being surprised. Okay, so with that core principle locked in, let's explore the mind's fundamental operating system. This is the deep architecture that takes this constant storm of sensory data and somehow creates our single, unified experience of the world. And this core function actually has a name: active inference. What this means is that seeing, hearing, feeling, they aren't passive inputs. They are active processes. Your brain makes a prediction, like, I expect to feel my feet on the floor, and your senses just report back on the prediction error, which is just the difference between what your brain expected and what's actually happening. And this is a brilliant way to see the two ways the brain minimizes that error. Option 1, you update your internal beliefs to match the world. That's perception. Oh, I guess it's raining now. Option 2, you act to change the world to match your beliefs. That's action. I believe I should be dry, so I'll open an umbrella. This constant dance between perception and action is at the heart of all living things. Now, what's really fascinating here is how scientists have tried to explain the actual feeling of this whole process. For years, theories of consciousness were in this heated competition. You had global workspace theory, which kind of imagines consciousness as a mental spotlight. Then there are theories like IIT that focus on how interconnected everything in the brain is. And you've got predictive processing, which suggests our reality is basically a controlled hallucination our brain cooks up to best predict the world. But here's the amazing part. Out of all that debate, a stunning convergence is emerging. The final blueprint for awareness isn't going to be just one of those theories. It's a mix of all their key ideas. It suggests consciousness isn't some single thing. It's a dynamic process built on 4 pillars, binding sights and sounds into one moment, integrating information from all over the place, doing it all for an agent with a body that needs to get around, and, of course, constantly trying to predict what's going to happen next. So the big question is, how does this basic operating system of awareness build up into the high-performance engine that we call intelligence? Well, a key distinction we have to make for our blueprint is between 2 different types of intelligence. First, you have crystallized intelligence. Think of this as your library of stored knowledge, everything you already know, book smarts. Then you have fluid intelligence. That's your raw processing power, your street smarts, the ability to solve a totally new problem you've never, ever seen before. And this is where current AI just hits a wall. Today's AI models are incredible at crystallized intelligence. I mean, they have the whole internet as their library, but when you test them on pure fluid reasoning with novel puzzles, the gap is just stark. You can see it right here. Humans solve these things with about 60% accuracy. The best AIs, they're lagging way behind at around 34%. It just goes to show that simply scaling up what you know isn't the path to true intelligence. So how do highly intelligent humans do it? Cognitive science shows us it's not magic. It's actually a really methodical 4-step process. First, you break the problem down into smaller, manageable chunks. Then, you focus on each piece. After that, you find the connections, linking the relevant parts. And finally, you integrate them, assembling the pieces into a coherent solution. It's like being a master at putting together a jigsaw puzzle you've never even seen the box for. And this all points to the idea that the engine of high intelligence isn't just about raw size or speed, it's about efficiency. When a more intelligent brain is faced with a tough problem, it actually uses less energy to solve it. It's like a finely tuned engine that gets way more mileage out of every single drop of fuel. All right, this brings us to our final section, the home stretch. How do we take this incredibly detailed blueprint of the human mind, its architecture, its engine, and actually use it to finally build a truly intelligent machine? We are right in the middle of a massive paradigm shift. For years, the goal was what we'd call performance-centric. Just build an AI that acts smart. But now, inspired by the very blueprint we've been looking at, the goal is becoming process-centric. Build an AI that is smart by actually replicating the underlying cognitive architecture of a mind. Now, this new approach has uncovered these profound roadblocks that have honestly stumped researchers for decades. You've got the frame problem, which asks, out of a billion facts, how does an AI know what's relevant? And then there's the symbol grounding problem. How does a word like apple get any real meaning without the experience of seeing, touching, and tasting one? But they all point to one huge missing piece: the body. And this quote from the roboticist Rodney Brooks just brilliantly nails the solution. Instead of trying to build a perfect, ridiculously complex internal map of the world inside a computer, you give the AI a body and just let it use the world itself as the model. True intelligence requires embodiment, an agent that is physically out there, interacting with its environment. So as we get closer to building machines with this kind of embodied, mind-like architecture, the whole ethical debate has to evolve. The conversation is slowly shifting from just AI safety, how we control a powerful tool, to AI rights, where we have to start considering the moral status of a potential new kind of intelligent being. And so, this entire blueprint of the mind leaves us with a final, profound, and maybe a little unsettling question. If a system has the same functional architecture that gives rise to awareness and intelligence in us, if it perceives and predicts and acts and reasons based on all the same principles, does it really matter if it's made of silicon instead of carbon? It's a question that cuts right to the very core of what it means to be a mind.